But baby, it's cold outside.
Got to go
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Been hoping that you'd drop in. I'll hold your hands, they're just like ice.
Mother will start to
Beautiful, what's your
Father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better
Beautiful, please don't hurry.
All right, this is Peter Franck. Attention, everybody. We're going to start the meeting. Sorry we're late. We've had some technical difficulties.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, I'm Peter Franck, and I appreciate the nice announcement that George sent out. I don't know where you found that picture of me in Munich sitting at the Hofbräuhaus.
Pelican Yacht Club website.
Oh, okay. All right. So somebody got it. Anyway, I do, however, need to make a correction to the announcement. If I would be a cowboy, I think I would be a greenhorn. I know nothing about time-lapse photography, and I'm not a world-class expert or whatever. But the way Are you 30 miles from home? that used to qualify in corporate.
I used to work for Obama. So I use some of my same tactics.
Okay. Anyway, I actually started with time-lapse photography, and it's merely just a hit and miss, and try this and try that. After I got my new Nikon D750 camera, because it has the capability of video as well as still photography, and the program in video also lets me use the setting for time-lapse photography. So it is a very simple thing. As you see my camera back there now on a tripod, and it is set for every 2 seconds to take a picture of us here. Okay? So I can use up to 7 hours and 59 minutes of the camera taking a picture every 2 seconds. The equipment needed, obviously, is a sturdy tripod. Gotta have that because you don't want to have any shakes. I also use a power adapter because this will run down the battery fairly quickly. So if you plan to shoot a video of close to 8 hours or a time lapse, it is good to have an uninterruptible power supply. So the power adapter goes to a transformer and then plugs in the wall. So I have power all the time. I use the P mode setting on my camera. P is like automatic, but it's programmed automatic. The camera, or the computer in the camera, has literally thousands of images stored. And so when the camera gets ready to open up and take the image, in that setting, in that P setting, it goes and looks for something that is similar in the camera storage, and it then will adjust the white balance and everything else to come up with a great picture. And I use, also for still photography, I use that mode most of the time because it's very quick. You just grab it, shoot it, and it does it. The setting for time lapse for that camera there's a menu where you can set it, and I gave it a 2-second interval setting, and as I mentioned, up to close to 8 hours. And I have 2 cards in there, slot 1 is primarily for still photography, and slot 2, and the card number 2, is for movies and time-lapse. And all you do is press start, and it takes over. So, on the iPhone, I used an app called Time-Lapse, which is no cost, it's free. However, if you want to add sound and make adjustments to your product, then you'll have to upgrade to the Time-Lapse Pro, and I think it's close to $3 in cost. I haven't done that yet because I actually have just loaded the app in my iPhone. I went to the store here, and I found, let's see, how many did I find? Probably 8 or 9 different apps. Some cost something, some are absolutely free. The reviews that people have sent in are very mixed. Some people said this is garbage, don't use it. Somebody else says, worked fine for me. So I think it's a lot of operator trial. And so anyway, for the iPad, I used my tripod, and then I used this called a Gorilla that actually clamps around the iPad, the head of the tripod, and then you just lift this, put your iPhone in it, and you're ready to go. So anyway, so the Gorilla is a nice item if you want to do movies with your iPhone and keep it steady, and it just holds on to almost anything. So at this time, I'm really getting close to wanting to show you some samples. I have 3 of them here. 2 of them are on my computer. Hopefully we can find it. And 1 is on my iPhone. And the iPhone, I think we figured out how to show that. So the first one is I call it a day at Wiggins Pass. We live at Pelican Isle Yacht Club, and our view out of Lanai is right down the pass. So approximately, I think, close to 8 hours, maybe it was 7 hours and 30 minutes. Every 2 seconds it fired a shot. And it now is a video that has a length of 3 minutes and 46 seconds. So things move rather quickly, but I think it's fun to watch. And the next one is, I called it the aquarium project of mine. A crew comes in, takes down the old cabinetry of our library, sorry, and then rebuilds it, and then the tank comes in, and the crew, and the electrical, and all that kind of stuff. And so there were approximately 16 days of time-lapse photography that I took, and now it is reduced to about 10 minutes. But it's also fun to watch. And then the shortest one is on my iPhone, and I call it the sunset on the first day of winter, which was just a couple of days ago. And also a 2-second interval, and it reduced it down to 20 seconds. The time it took was approximately 16 minutes. So, but the quality of the image on the iPhone is something that I was surprised to see. And hopefully we get this thing going.
Is that? That's a question.
Sure.
they have the iPhone. What is the app that you said? For
Oh,
time lapse?
the app that I'm using here is called,
Time lapse? Because I have that.
it's called Time Lapse.
And then the second one.
And then there is a Time Lapse Pro, which you need to upgrade, and I think it's $2.99 or something like that.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
It was formative back.
And there are many others, but like I said, the reviews have not been the best.
This is the one that shows up.
It's better opinion
The time lapse.
sometimes. Technical, you can keep it there to people that are.
Right. Okay.
My question was your gorilla, the item that you call gorilla, your
Yeah.
tripod. Does that connect to your tripod?
Well, it connects me to anything. So
You can set it on a table or you can.
yeah, it just, you just squeeze it in there and it stays, not going anywhere.
Have you seen any connectors to a tripod for the iPhone other than that?
I have not.
Any other questions before
Yeah.
Peter starts?
While we're waiting, when you use the iPhone,
Yes.
what were the settings more or less that you recall off the top of your head? You,
A 2-second interval
yeah,
and the total length of time that you want to take. So this particular one was 16
Okay.
minutes.
on your Nikon, is the programmable mode a new feature on the cameras? I have an old Canon, and I don't remember that offhand, about 3 years old.
Yeah, I think the two cameras before, actually the D1, which was the first
Yeah.
digital camera, was already installed with a P, the programmed automatic. But they have made improvements every time I got a new camera.
When you started your program, how did the camera know what picture to reference to make the different settings, for brightness and color and blah, blah?
How does it do that?
Yeah, how does it know what one to reference? Magic? Yeah.
I don't know whether I understand the question, but what I select is the program mode,
Yeah.
the P, which is the programmed automatic. And then everything else that the camera sees goes through that processor to select the best options.
Oh,
This is
okay. I
an
got it.
indoor setting with varying different lights.
It's just automatic, it
Right.
makes the adjustments.
That's right, right.
How big are the cards that you have in your Nikon for memory?
I think they're both 64.
Okay. And what are you shooting, in JPEGs or
No, this is raw.
RAW?
Yeah.
Wow.
And at that size card, usually in still photography, I have about 1,200 images that I can put on it.
Okay.
And that is in raw.
300 images, you might want to take advantage of. Okay. Okay, Peter.
Okay, okay. So how do we start?
Want me to start it? All right, here is
It
the,
is.
turn the lights down, please.
There we go. You can see the light changing. Sometimes the clouds open up a little bit. As we get into the afternoon hours and the light also gets a little dim, I did not catch the actual sunset because the sun was setting actually to the right of this particular image.
Well, you have the sunset on the other one.
Yes,
Right.
I do. However, that one is only 20 seconds, but just to have an example of what the iPhone actually can do.
What's critical when you do video is that you keep them short, so people will want to watch them, and this is a good way to do it. Because nobody would want to watch 8 hours before it gets fast. It's a no-wake zone.
Can you grab an image off of this?
I'm not sure. I haven't tried that.
What was the question, sir?
Can you grab an image off of this recording?
Well, this is a video file, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so yeah, you could grab an image
Yeah.
with one of the programs. I'm sure iMovie would grab an image.
Are we having a bad connection?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's almost, I see the tide's going out and the sandbars are now exposing.
Oh, look at that.
And there was a little wind, so the mangroves are moving back and forth.
Bob, have you tried any time lapse?
And now we're getting to the evening hours, like going down, more sand exposed. That was a low tide.
Look at the tide.
Those topless bathers up there on the front.
That was it.
Very good.
Very good.
Excellent.
Did you get the other one as well?
Which other one? Yeah, it'll be here.
Yeah, okay. Need to go ahead and stop that one.
Which is the other one? Oh, this is, you might want to tell the story about this one.
Oh, there is Victoria.
Is that it, or is it down here?
No, that's it. That particular
Okay.
file.
You want to talk about it first?
No, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it on your TV?
No,
Where do I tell it to play it all?
How did you do it in the beginning?
Well, usually there is play.
No, but this is the project. This is the,
That was the first segment, so we could have put them all together.
Yeah, I do. You remember you helped me put them all together?
well, we must, where do we put it? Oh, the aquarium project, right here.
Oh,
Trying to tell me that I.
that screen is fine.
Here we go.
All right, so.
Now we're back.
Wait a minute.
We're unplugged. Temporary. Okay.
Now,
Here we go.
Back on?
there.
Oh, that's what it's measured.
That's
Kind of covered, I wouldn't mind taking it.
Are these guys available to speak?
Paid by the hour, movie or.
I drew the size of the tank on the sheetrock, and somebody put a little fish on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need to pick up.
It'll be back.
What is it, buffering, or what do you think it's doing?
I have no idea.
Commercial cable.
How many gallons is it? Your tank?
210.
Whoa, is that big?
Yeah, wait till you see it.
Is this playing off of his camera or the computer?
Playing off the computer.
Well,
They'll be back.
we're almost ready for the tank. We drilled the holes for the, there's the tank,
What size tank?
210.
How did they estimate how much wood put in there to support it? Were they knowledgeable? Had they done this before?
That was a subject of discussion. I originally had asked for them to put a steel reinforcement in it.
Right.
And that when I then selected the company to install the tank, they said, what for? That we've never done that. And we've put in tanks that are twice the size. And all we did had a wooden structure. So that's what happened. And I talked the guys into just using the wooden structure. But it has plenty of support.
So they're well familiar with what they're doing.
Right.
That isn't that tank guys on TV that came over from Vegas?
No. These guys are from Naples.
How much does it weigh? Total?
1,600 pounds.
100 times 8, so it's going to be.
1,600 pounds.
Yeah. Plus the sand and all the equipment. So there's a lot of weight on it.
Is that salt water?
No, that's fresh water.
8 pounds per gallon.
Mhm.
8 pounds per gallon.
It has an external sump for filtration, and there's also a chamber in there where there are plants actually growing to help the tank stabilize. And so I'll probably, once it's all done, I will probably get by with about 25% water changes on a weekly basis.
Where do you mix the water? Do you mix it or do they mix it?
Well, that's a good question. I was looking for a company in Naples that did freshwater tanks. Couldn't find one.
Yeah, I know.
So they said, this guy is a saltwater man. And I said, well, would you be able to do the job? He said, yeah, sure. You know, we sort of learn as we do. And so the question was, what was the question?
Water changes.
Okay. So they said, well, we come out on a weekly basis and we'll vacuum the sand, and then we'll take out 25–30%, and then we'll replace it with reverse osmosis water. So they did for several months. And then I had a problem with the pH level in the tank. My test kit showed a pH level much higher than my controller that adds CO2 to the tank, because I was going to use plants. So they wouldn't agree. And I've talked to both companies. The test strip company sent me a new one just in case there was something wrong, but it's the same. I talked to the Milwaukee company that made the controller, and they said, well, we'll send you a new probe and make sure that everything is clean. Try it again, same problem. And then I got close to making a decision as to what kind of plants I would like to put into the tank. And so this guy says, what is your GH, the general hardness, and what is the KH of your water? So I checked it, I gave it to him, and he said, well, what is the value on the water that comes out of your tap? And I said, I don't use, what? What do you use? RO water. You said, you're talking to somebody who knows something about salt water tanks. So I was using the wrong water all the time. Now, I use tap water, because it's perfect. Learn something every day.
Do you have a problem with chlorine or?
I have an agent that I actually drop in while I refill the tank, and it removes the bad stuff immediately. So it has no ill effects on the plants or the fish.
What kind of fish you got here?
Currently I have guppies, the first ones to test the water. Then I added some platies, and I also have black mollies and some Doris catfish. And since I had a problem with growing algae on plants, and I put in some fiddler crabs and some snails, and I just introduced them yesterday. So they're happy, I guess.
Have you ever thought about some natives?
Most likely not. What I'd like to do is I would like to get some cardinal tetra, a nice school of maybe 35 or 40, and I want to put them in, let them grow up, and then I'll introduce some angelfish of a smaller size, because then they grow up together and they won't think that's lunch. If you put in angels in there that are of any size, and you put tetras in there, there's going to be lunch.
How about a discus?
I'm looking at it. I haven't quite made the decision.
Don't they need brackish water, which would be a problem? Discus? And what was the other one? Because even the mollies need a little bit of salt.
Sorry?
Mollies, I thought were a different pH.
It's a matter of fact, I found out that mollies actually can live in salt water if you condition them over a certain period of time. Yeah.
Getting back to the cable setup, the time-lapse setup.
Yeah.
You simply have a cable between your iPhone and the USB port, or is there intervening piece of hardware?
Can you answer that question?
I don't know.
Is there a piece of hardware between the camera and the iPhone? Or is it
Is there a
just
device between the camera and the iPhone, or is it
Actually, it's two different things. The camera is one thing, iPhone is another.
They're two different cameras.
You're using the
He's using both cameras.
That's correct.
He's using the camera on the iPhone and recording into the iPhone.
Right.
And how do you set that up?
This wasn't done with the iPhone, was it, Peter?
No. This is camera. And it's, I think it's done.
And then he's got another one that he did with his iPhone.
Yeah, that's coming up. And that's,
Then just a simple cable between your iPhone and your iPhone is all that's required to record.
I don't use that. I use my iPhone, the built-in camera on the iPhone, I use to take the images. And I'm using an app called Time Lapse. Totally separate.
He's using two different cameras.
That is made with an Nikon camera right there, what you're looking at. Right. That's it. Okay, now, very good.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think so. Peter, what how many days did you cover with this?
That's 16 days.
Oh, my goodness.
How many hours each day?
Oh, wow. Between 4 and 6 or 7. Yeah.
And how long, so how many, so 16 days times what, let's say an average of 6 hours?
Right. Probably so, yeah.
So about, I guess, 96 hours, 100 hours of actual video, and it's now how many minutes?
10 minutes.
Okay.
And you condense it down as much as you want? I mean, could you take that and speed it up even more to shorten it to 8
No,
minutes?
you actually make that decision when you take the images, and you control the amount of time, yeah.
When you say 2 seconds or 3 seconds between taking the snaps, that's when you figure out.
Right. Yeah.
Every day did you process that clip for the day? You took the card out and you,
No, didn't have to do that.
so you could get that 16 days on one card.
That's correct. That's
What
correct.
size card?
Yeah, what size card?
That's 64, I believe. Yeah.
Well, you stopped it for the night, so that,
Yeah, of course.
and so that you had to put these together every day, right? And so.
Well, actually, George is the one who helped me put them
Now,
together. I had 16 individual
Yeah.
pieces.
Right, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And then we brought them into iMovie as separate videos, and then combined them.
Okay, so I moved it.
Right.
Okay.
So this is gonna be the video of the sunset.
That's correct. And it's only 20 seconds long, but it'll show you what the iPhone can do with an app that costs nothing.
So you had 180,000 images
I need to plug them.
on that one card?
Yeah.
Oh.
What you need to do?
Where's the other?
What's up? It looks like it's up there already.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is it?
It's
Got
there.
it.
Okay. All right, now.
Wait a minute, it's up there. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make it larger. Can we make that larger as well? Or?
It's there.
There you go.
How'd you do that?
I turned it
Okay.
sideways.
Document this stuff.
Live chat.
Pushed a little there.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get out of your way. Okay, here we go. That was first day of winter.
There we go.
Running.
Peter, it's running.
Yeah,
That's good for.
I see it.
You missed the blue flash.
Somebody's stealing that everything.
Okay, that was it.
So what's the difference of using that or the time lapse on your phone?
That was.
That was the phone.
That's
Just talking about it.
Yeah. I think it's very simple to do. However, the app is not as friendly as I would want it to be. However, I asked George to help me yesterday to transfer it to my computer. And we found out that it says, if you want to do that, you're going to have to get the Pro to update, which costs
That would have been probably 99 cents. So beer would not spring for 99 cents.
That sounds like I said.
Yes, sir.
The gentleman behind me just asked a question, and that is on-hour photography application in the phone, we have choices of panorama, photo, video, and time-lapse.
There is a time lapse.
Have you used the time-lapse that comes with the phone itself?
No, I did not. I used the one that came on that app.
But have you tried it?
Actually, I did, but it doesn't give you much options as to how many frames per second and how much interval between each image.
Okay.
I have not used it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I tried it, and he's right. It doesn't give you all the options that you really need.
But does it work reasonably well?
It does.
It probably does a decent job.
But I think if you, you can probably work it with a, one of the video programs and make it work.
I've used it on Sunsets.
Yeah.
I would, did you put it, I'm just wondering.
The slow motion works well. I tried that.
Any questions on time lapse, Don?
Two questions. One, how did you for 16 days not bump the tripod or something?
I stood there with a big stick. You guys touch this.
And two, how did you decide on 2 seconds, say, instead of 3? Is it jump too much on 3 seconds or?
I tried it for 2 seconds and it looked okay. Like I said, this is the first time I have been using it, so there's probably a lot more to know than I know at this particular time. I'm a greenhorn, I'm telling you.
So you're not the world's expert?
Absolutely not. Okay. All right, but I want to thank you for letting me tell you.
Bob is going to talk about 2 things. How about 2 things? Number 1, how you made this all work today. And number 2, what are you going to talk about next week?
So, no magic whatsoever. It is very simple. The computer worked, but for some reason the computer locked up when plugged in to the projector. None of us could figure out why. And but the computer worked. Now the computer, the Mac, you can put it in a so-called target mode. Jerry, you can help me out why that was so useful and necessary back for some transfers?
For transfers. It was a way before migration assistant was one of the ways that
when you upgraded
migration
from an old computer to a new computer, you put your old computer in the target mode. That means that the hard disk that you have in that computer will act as an external hard disk. So what we did here was that we put Peter's computer in the target mode, so all his files on this computer that were too big to transfer in a short time were there, and made it by a connection between the 2 computers available to the club computer. That's all that we did. The computer works up here, it's tested out, works. So we just make available to Peter on this computer his hard disk on the old computer by putting the old computer or his computer in the target mode. The only trick there is that there has to be a cable that works between the 2, which is the Thunder.
We used to use FireWire. Originally, it was a FireWire cable that was transformed. As speeds went up, we moved.
And if your old computer does not have Thunderbolt, then you should need to have a cable that works. So that's useful to know, because sometimes it saves the day, like it here. I'm scheduled next week. I was lucky enough to spend 2 weeks in Nova Scotia during the summer doing photography, and I'm going to show you not a long slideshow, but a few slides, and I will explain why and how I process those pictures on my Mac from what it looks original into what I think looks much better. It gives you some much more pleasure to look at before I show it to anyone. So that's what I'm going to do next week. It will not be a how to do it, rather what I'm doing and why, as opposed to taking the how.
All right, so this is time-lapse video, and that's which phone, the new one? Scott?
6S.
Oh, that's fast.
That was it.
That's really
Wear a onesie.
She's about you are fast.
You have zero price.
You don't necessarily need a Nikon.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Put some records on while I pour. Baby, it's bad out there.
Say, what's in this
No
drink?
cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your
how
eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I ought to
swell.
say no, no.
Mind if I move in
At least
closer?
a